one of the reasons I actually got into this field was because of the family. What's going on, fam? And welcome to Every Second Sunday, a podcast where family talks about family, but not in a bad way. We're going to be talking about generational patterns, characteristics, behaviors. We're going to have a little fun with it. My name is Jalisa. This is my cousin, James. We are first cousins. We're related through my dad and his mom. When we were little, James tormented me. He thought it was fun to get on my nerves. And now he makes a sport of it. It's just not.
I think at this point, it's not even practice anymore. We're just here now. We're in a routine.
He has perfected annoying Jalisa, but I guess I give a little bit in return as well.
You try. You might try.
You try to get me. I do try. Try.
That wasn't crickets.
I never made. Shut up. I never made him as mad as he made me. But my cousin definitely shows up for me in so many different ways, and I so appreciate him. There are actually 16 of us.
There are 16. Right? Let's get the count right.
Maybe depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
Some might say 16, some might say 18.
I know it was 1-6 golden for the longest, so that's definitely imprinted in the memory. We gotta
at least 16. Well, at least 16.
At the least, yeah.
And maybe more. We grew up together. We've had a lot of experiences hanging out and seeing how things just seem to repeat themselves, especially as we got older. What behaviors, characteristics, relationship cycles. It's been very interesting. We've had a lot of big things happen within the last few years, and just seeing how everybody responds to it has been very, very interesting.
Oh my goodness, eye-opening, right?
Eye-opening, jaw-dropping.
To say the least. Yeah.
And the question just comes every time, where did this come from?
Where did this? Yeah. Where was I? Yeah.
Where was I? What happened? Yeah. Just so much. So, we're going to get into it. We're going to talk a little more specifically as time goes on. Why we wanted to do this was, again, we talk a lot about things that we just discover over time. And when you know better, you do better. And there were a lot of situations where I wish I knew better and could have done better before.
Same.
Now I know better and I try to do better. Particularly when it comes to mental health and how it travels in families and how families support each other or don't support each other, how we show up for each other when we may not know exactly what's going on with someone else, but react to just what we're seeing. And that's been a pretty significant issue in our family in particular, but I also know it happens in a lot of families. Also, I think we're just interesting. We could talk for a long time.
I agree. We do it on the phone. We do it on the phone. We do it in person. So why not?
It's never boring. Like, it's never like, why are you? I'm like, the difference when you on the phone or talking to somebody that you don't really want to talk to. It's like, all right, you here.
15 minutes.
Right. Okay. How long can I go before I'm rude? We just have fun. We have fun. So we definitely wanted to spread some of that fun, some of that love to the listeners. We just want to explore family. I think families are interesting. Families really influence the individual. Like, no man is an island. No person is an island. Like, you don't just come out and grow up and it's just you by yourself. There's always influences. There's always patterns, genetic, biological, behavioral. Like, you're not as alone. I think a lot of people feel like they're just alone. What happened?
Nah, I was saying something from nothing, cousin. You hit it on the head. There's something there. Yeah.
You're just never really by yourself. So I think it's cool to look at. What you got to say, cousin?
Let's talk about the icebreakers. Let me see what I got. Let me see. We are going to go with memes with family traits, family common traits. Let's see. Having toxic parents or a toxic family is more challenging than those with relatively functional families can imagine. Nothing is ever a simple conversation. Almost everything is riddled with passive aggression, subliminals, trauma, and projection.
Can you
Having
relate?
toxic parents or a toxic family is more challenging than those with relatively functional families. I definitely say I could relate to the toxic parents and the challenges. I was thinking on yesterday. So, what would you say, cousin?
I definitely can relate. I relate to the toxic family. Like, we've just seen a lot of things that got passed down that really did not need to be passed down, and the damage that gets done when we entertain those toxic traits. I can't say the word.
Yeah,
Uh, you don't even see it. It takes a long
yeah,
time to see it, and a lot of the time you see it after things have really gotten out of control. And it's very hard to explain to people who don't experience what you're seeing or what you're experiencing.
a whole
Um,
nother world.
a whole nother world. And I would say for our family, we're very good at not showing or not wearing things. Like, if something
Yeah,
happens and you're traumatized by it, you're hurt by it, we're very good at just you're not gonna see it.
that's
You're not
right.
gonna see it, at least not right away. You're not gonna hear about it. We're not gonna talk about it. It's just gonna be what it is. You take the hit and you keep moving. And
Dust it off.
sometimes that's necessary. There's going to be times in life, I guess, where you do have to keep going, but at some point there should be an intention to sit down and actually process and heal from whatever it is that happened to you. And I don't think we've always been that good at doing that.
I agree with you, cousin.
So,
I'm
mhm.
glad you said that because you were hitting the nail on the head there. The same. I remember times when I could see my friends just going to their parents and delivering certain information or just moving a certain way, and I was like, I
Mhm.
know for James, it's not going to be that way. It was like watching TV. It was like watching Nickelodeon as a kid or something. You see how it plays out on there. And you're
That
like, this is not
part.
my house. This is not my house.
I
It's not
can't
my
relate.
house, man. I
I
thought
can't
about
I
some of
can't
the
relate.
lies I had to do, and I was like, I probably got a habit of lying, and it was probably because I knew it wasn't gonna be a challenge. It wasn't the same. It wasn't the same. So that was
I
a
think
perfect
I
one.
got good at avoidance. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say
yeah.
anything. If you
I'm not
don't
even.
ask, don't
Don't ask, don't
tell.
tell.
Don't ask, don't tell was the
Save my
rule
time.
in
I'll
my
save
house.
my
If you
time.
don't ask me, I'm not obligated to
Time is
tell
limited. You're not guaranteed tomorrow,
to
so
tell anything.
that's exactly it.
So I'm gonna just hold this information until the last possible second, because, like you said, I already know I'm gonna have to hear about it. So, speaking of family traits and cycles, one of the things that we really wanted to do was share education and information, partly as we're learning it. Some stuff I've already learned. If you follow me, you know that this is my job to learn about behaviors and how it impacts people and how our thought patterns impact our emotions and our attitudes, and how that impacts our choices, and then our choices, the outcomes impact how we feel, and that impacts what we think, and it's cyclical. One of the reasons I actually got into this field, or why I was interested in this field, was because of the family, because I just saw so many similarities,
Mm,
and there was just a lot that I didn't understand about
yeah.
how people reacted to different things. We have a lot of, I'll call them fractures,
Hmm.
right, in our family. So there's people that don't speak.
That's right.
Um, and I never understood how you could just cut off somebody that you love.
Yeah.
And as a child at the time, they weren't necessarily cutting me off, but if they cut off my parent, or if they cut off, somebody else that I was connected to, I was still impacted, because now you had to like navigate things, right? Like,
That's
it
right.
wasn't just like I could walk in the room and say, Jay, how's so and so? And it's like no big deal. It's like, how's so and so? Well, actually, we don't speak.
Crickets.
And that's
Crickets.
like,
You let me know. You let
and
me
I was
know.
like, okay.
Mm,
And it was just very weird for me and very kind of jarring, because it started happening a lot, all
very
kind of
often.
around the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, with different people. And what we learned through the years, was that there was like ongoing issues that were not being dealt with appropriately. And it's like just a break, and things just keep breaking and breaking and
Mm,
breaking
mm,
until
mm.
it would totally shatter. And then the outcome is it's always the kids who suffer.
It
it's
was always
always
the cookie crumbles, the kids get to eat no cookies. It was
it's
always that
it's
way.
always the kids who
Yeah.
like really feel
Trying to
it.
trying to
And
find crumbs. Yep.
yeah, and so
Yeah.
now we're in a place where we're starting to rebuild. It's not the end. And I don't believe in too late. I think like if
Never
you're
too
still
late.
here,
Big movements. I love
that
that,
part.
cousin. Go ahead.
Yeah. We're never too late. But got some work to do. We definitely have work to do. But that said, I learned that there are genetic components and biological components and environmental factors. There's behavioral factors. So if you're exposed to a certain type of behavior, then you're likely going to repeat that behavior. Right. And then there's just ways that we're wired in our brains and we inherit from our ancestors, from our parents, our grandparents. So it's not, again, we're not by ourselves. And I've learned not to attribute someone's behavior just to their personal ability and intent. That there's a lot of the time there's an overarching cycle, right? There's a system that's in place. And if you don't know, if you're not aware, then you're hard pressed to correct it. Tell me what you think, cousin.
I like how you said that, cousin. I mean, like you said, we see it constantly within our family dynamics. Just that constant circle of, the breakdowns and really trying to figure out how we can piece it back together. I agree with you. There's big
Mm-hmm.
movements on the way, and I'm glad that we're able to get these conversations going actually now
Mm-hmm.
and get the pot stirred. Really excited just to see more growth and more development than we have in the past,
That part. Yeah.
especially with the education and knowledge.
Yeah. And it's uncomfortable.
Yeah,
It's super uncomfortable because you're so used to doing things a certain way. Like one of the things that we're really good at in our family is secret keeping. Let's talk about secrets.
let's talk about the
we not
secret keeping. Let's talk about the keeper of the secrets.
is who is
What you
keeping
don't know
secrets?
won't hurt you, right? Ain't that what they used to say? What you don't know won't hurt you.
And ain't that a lie?
The biggest one, the
That's
biggest
the
one by
biggest
far,
lie.
the
I was
biggest one
thinking
by far.
too,
Family Feud.
no news is good news.
No news is great
It's a
news, right?
lie.
Ain't heard nothing. Must be good. Must be good over there. Okay. All
It's
right.
a
All
lie.
right. I love that. I love that.
And what happened was, so in the last year or so, I just been talking to people. It just seemed like there was this big awakening, and
Yeah.
we'll talk later in later episodes about why some of those
Yeah.
conversations took
Yeah.
place. But there was just like this big opening up,
Yeah.
and just talking to different people in the family, and it's like, dang, you was going through what I was going through at the
Come
same
on.
time,
Come on. Come
and
on.
because our
Who knew?
family culture is we don't really share that stuff. Like we
Right.
share, what do we share? We share successes.
You should definitely share successes. You got to mourn losses, but you definitely share all the victories and the wins, right?
Mhm.
Those big mile markers and things like that you can't ignore or not give credit to or give attention to. Definitely, yeah. All the other stuff, drama, whatever it
Mhm.
is, it can
Nah.
you can sweep that somewhere. Put that in that closet over there. There's some room in that one.
What we saw was that there's a lot of situations that if somebody was able to intervene ahead of time, so like anxiety, I think a lot of people
Yeah,
in our family deal with
yeah,
anxiety
yeah,
and
yeah.
depression.
Processing anxiety. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we don't know. Like nobody
No,
knew. And
you
then
don't
when
know. You
when
don't
I'm
know.
talking to people, it's like, dang, okay. I,
Exact
we,
same.
we could have helped each other.
Exact same. Exact same scenarios and situations. Who knew?
That part. And then
Yeah.
it would explain a lot. So it was legit. Like we had conversations like, wow, all this time I thought this because I didn't know anything about that other part.
That's
And
right.
you're hiding that other part because of whatever. You don't want to be judged. You don't think people are
Right.
going to understand you. And then you
Right.
realize if I knew that other part, then it would give context to the thing that I
It would
saw,
explain a lot. Yeah.
and it would have helped me understand you differently, right? Or deal with you differently.
I don't know if it
And
was the same
mhm,
for you, cousin, but when you would get maybe like uncertainties, and you would look around and you were like your uncertainties wouldn't be necessarily confirmed, but they might be even more exaggerated just because you didn't have, like you said, that missing information maybe that you could have had to make, maybe some better sound decisions or just maybe, a little more
mhm,
ease with your anxiety, like you were saying.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
think for me that was like it was a
yeah,
constant thing, a constant thing.
yeah. Like I just don't know what to do,
Yeah.
and I'm just out here figuring it out.
I'm just out here winging it, baby.
And if I had talked to so and so and I had acknowledged that, I
Same
was
story.
unsure, uncertain.
Yeah.
You might have had something for me, because now I'm finding out that you had gone through the same thing around the same time, or maybe a little before I did. It kind of made me sad, because I said, that's not the culture that I would want for our family and families in general, right?
In
Because
general, yeah,
our families raise us and send us out into society. So this is how
yeah.
people communicate and
Coming
deal
from
with
your safe
people
place.
in
Yeah,
society.
yeah, yeah.
I remember going away to school and people said that I was mean because I did not like a lot of questions. It was like, don't. And all right. And here's the thing. Okay. So I think it's a Brooklyn thing and I think it's a family thing. I'm not
Yeah.
exactly sure where that came from.
Environment and genetics. Let's go. Go ahead, cousin.
It was like, but I know that like in Brooklyn, we don't really do that. Like it's like I'll meet you and if we click, we connect, we're cool.
It's
And
yeah.
it's like I'll find stuff
Misunderstood
out
doesn't have to
about
be
you.
explained. Yeah,
Right. And I'll find out what I need to know as time goes on.
yeah.
Right. Like and it's basically how much you'll let somebody be in your space. So if I don't want you to know nothing, you're not going to be around me enough to see anything, to question anything. You stay over there, I'm going to stay over here, and it's all good. If I really rock with you, if we're really cool friends, you come to
Yeah.
my house,
Your
you meet my
family.
family, like you
Yeah.
you out, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so stuff
Yeah.
just comes out naturally
I
as
ain't
you
gotta
get to
tell
know
you.
somebody.
Yeah.
But
You see it with your own eyes.
I went down south and they had that whole southern
Southern
hospitality.
hospitality. Yes,
And I
yes.
immediately was like, danger. This is a problem.
Red flags.
Why?
Hit the button. Break glass.
What do your parents do? Why? Like,
Yeah.
are you single? Why? Why do you need to know? I mean, that was my whole thing. Why do you
Yeah.
need to know? And I would get so frustrated because it was like, and they couldn't really
They can
understand
understand it. Yeah.
why I was. And Jay's from Charlotte. He's from North Carolina,
Yeah.
y'all. So
Yeah.
he
Yep.
gets
I'm right here
it
in the
more than
South
I get it.
all the
I'm just
time.
like, but
All the
that was just
time.
always my thing. It was like, why do you need to know? And so I really
Yeah.
had a reputation for being like a not nice person because I also could not effectively communicate that I just don't want to talk about it. In my mind, it wasn't okay to just say, I don't want to answer that or whatever. I would be like, why you want to know? Stop asking me questions. Because in my
Right.
head, you trying to set me up for something. What you want? What you want?
What's
And
your
so,
real scheme? Yeah. 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 What's behind the smile? Yeah.
and again, it wasn't till we were grown that I'm like, dang, like we really don't share stuff.
Nah,
Like
we
we
don't
do
open
not
up.
share information.
Nah, we don't open up.
Somebody has to kind of offer
It got to be a
you.
major breakdown, or yeah,
Yeah.
it's got to be a consistent offer.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I'll offer to you. I'll share something with you and
yeah.
that kind of gives you permission to ask me like follow-up questions. But for you to come out the blue and be like, "What's going on with this?" It's like, "Wait, you in my business now."
You getting a little deep.
I
Space.
don't like it. Why are you in my business?
That's the
Um
truth.
I really think that that speaks a lot to poor communication,
Yeah, agreed.
really.
Big time. The lack of
Yeah.
communication, man, just makes for so many disadvantages later on. So
Mhm.
many situations of
Yeah.
and hardness that we feel like maybe might be eased. Definitely with that greater amount of communication, even when
Mhm.
it doesn't seem important or doesn't seem like something that you might be proud of or whatever. You know.
Mhm. You said the other day, you said we treat knowledge like it's actual power. It's like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
more
Like
you
you're gonna
know
have a
about
power over
me,
me. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, the more you know
yeah.
about me, the more you can control me, the more you can use it against me. We see a lot of that, not just in our family, but I see it in other families too. It's like I ain't telling them nothing.
Right.
You don't
You're
need
gonna
to know
hold power over
nothing.
me. Yeah.
Cause as soon as you know, right, you're
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
waiting
It's the
to,
weapon. It might be a
yep,
weapon, and that's
yeah.
yeah. You're right. Right. You're
Mhm.
right. You're right. Because I've had many a time when I was the same way. I was like, the less y'all know, either the more I'm
Mhm.
saving you from heartache and pain, or the more I am keeping the weapon against me smaller.
Yep.
And that's the scary thing to have to think about it like that. But that's the
Mhm.
honesty.
So one thing we're definitely working on moving forward is boundaries, really.
Boundaries
That's like
and
my golden word for the last
yeah,
couple of years is I set the boundary, right? I
right.
determine the level of access and it's based on the individual, not everybody. Because I don't know about you, like I've been in a place where it was like me against the world. Like this is I'm
Nah,
just
definitely.
here
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everybody is getting the same energy.
That's the truth. Yeah,
Yeah.
not, and sometimes it was unintentional, sometimes it was intentional. So yeah,
Mhm.
definitely on both sides
Yeah.
of the spectrum.
Now I'm all for it. Let's do the work.
There's a better way. We try. If you tried all the other ways and you kept getting the same result, it's a better way, and we know that. And I'm so thankful for that.
And we're
Yeah.
doing it. So much of it just
Amen.
starts with talking. Everything doesn't have to be a secret.
Right.
If you have an issue, share at least with one
Share.
person that you
Yeah.
trust. Like pick
That's what I was about to say. The
somebody.
organic safe space. Yeah. Understanding your
Yeah,
safe spaces, like you said, your boundaries, and yeah, but you got to get it out.
that part. Because I'm not trying to have nobody asking me questions 50 years from now.
You got some explaining to do. Hey, Lucy,
Wait,
you got some explaining to do.
you got married a second time?
What happened? I'm curious. Yeah,
We did ancestry. We'll talk about that later too. But we actually did an
definitely.
ancestry
Some
search,
great things
and
to talk about,
we
actually.
found some extra
I'm
marriages.
loving it. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Who is this person?
You got a little deep. What?
Why? Why
Why?
did we know? Nobody talks about this.
Decades?
For decades. We talking
A
like
century? Century? 100 plus years?
1947, ma'am.
Okay.
You
Okay.
got
So
something you want to
this
tell us? You
this
can't
is
because
what
you
they was
gone.
talking about on the ancestry commercial. This was the real. That's the real commercial.
Somebody said, "Yeah, I was nervous." I was like, "I
Yeah.
wasn't nervous," but then once I found it, it was like, "Oh, okay, got it." All right, this was pretty much the introduction. We didn't really want to get
I
too
love
deep
it.
today. How you want to close this out, cousin?
Oh man, in conclusion, I just want to talk about some of the things that we did go over for everybody, remembering that we're going to be doing this every second Sunday. We're coming strong. We got everything that we need. I definitely want to give everybody their flowers while they can get them. So one, just giving a big up to God always. He's the one who definitely dropped his seed and got us rolling. Two, he dropped the seed in my cousin, who is amazing right now. Jaleesa's been doing it from day one. We grew up as siblings. My mother and her father being the oldest of 8 children, my mother being the oldest out of the daughters of the children, 6 boys, 2 daughters. It's just been an amazing journey, and we knew it. Like she said, I think we're very interesting. She thinks we're very interesting. When 2 or more agree, then I think we already. And we're gonna
Yep.
get some more people on board with this. We've been talking about it for years. Really excited, really diving into all these family dynamics.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be talking about all the little things, giving you a lot of knowledge. We're gonna make it as entertaining as we can, provide you with a lot of information. So I'm excited, cousin. I'm excited.
Yeah. So I have a question.
Yes.
If there were one thing that you would want to keep from our family and one thing that you would want to throw away, what would it be?
If we could keep one thing, cousin, I would actually have to say keep all of our individual talents and skills. We have really grown up knowing that, we're gifted. We're gifted in our own crafts. If it was, what do you say, inherited, or if it was taught, however we received it, and we took off with it as individuals.
Yeah.
That definitely be the thing that I would think is our goal, and I would always want to keep. The one thing I wouldn't throw away, like I think it goes with that lack of communication and the fear. I think that our family has a lot of fear, the fear of being close, being united. And so I think all that kind of ties in with the lack of communication and misunderstandings and all that. I would definitely throw away fear. I'll throw that right away. Family
You
fear.
physically threw it away.
I threw it away with my left hand.
Throw it.
To the left. To the left.
Annoying. I would say we're really a strategic group of people. I would want to keep that. Like we know how to like put, you give any of us anything, we know how to put it together. Like there's nobody that is like, nah, I can't trust you with this. It's like, nah. You can have it if you want it. You're gonna do it. You're gonna make it happen. So we have tenacity. We do the job until it's finished. I would want to keep that. We're the family that gets stuff done. I can put anything in anybody's hands and they're gonna do it, and I don't have to worry about it. As far as what I would want to not keep, I actually would want to follow through with that meme, the meme that you read earlier. Everything does not have to be a production. I feel like in our family, everything has to be
right. Why? More is less. Less is more sometimes. Less is
it's
more.
like,
Right.
I can't just
Keep it
send you a
basic.
text message. If I send you a text message, it's gonna be like, I'm gonna get like 6 back.
You said it, cousin.
It's gonna
You
be
said
like
it.
3 questions. I gotta figure out how to answer all the questions. And it could be something so simple, like, did you pick the socks up out the laundry? Like, it could be
Just
something
curious,
so small
curiosity.
and it's a whole big thing. And I'm
Curiosity.
like, can we, like, I
Supposed to study
legit
first. Supposed to study. Right.
I have to carve out time for certain people because it's like you require all of my attention. and it can't be like a quick 5-minute check-in. Hey, I love you. How you doing? And
That's
let's
the
keep it
facts.
moving. Like, so I would want that. I would want to be
Okay.
able to. Can we condense a little bit?
Yeah.
And so it's
Make it
either
easy for
a
me.
big production or we don't talk at all. So what are we going to be talking about moving forward?
Let me give you a couple topics that we're gonna bounce off of everybody's cranium when we come up on our next episode. Diving back into the mental health and illness, giving a lot of education on symptoms, characteristics, and I'm going to be talking about those people who are affected also by a person who's dealing with mental illness. We're going to also jump into some generational trauma. Yeah, why tracing your roots is important, and just putting the emphasis and giving some enlightenment into that.
Yeah. Yeah. All
Some
right.
big topics.
Well, I'm excited. You excited?
I'm excited, cousin. We rolling. Look at us now. Look at us now. I believe it started with Granddad putting a tripod up in any place he was at with the old VHS tape and letting it roll for 2 hours, however 4 hours on those later versions of the VHS tape. So yeah, I'm excited.
I remember being like 7. I might have been younger. I remember being like 7, and we went to Granddad's house, and he set up the video recorder, and I was obsessed with Lion King at the time. Y'all know me, I'm still obsessed with Lion King, but I was like hardcore watching it every single day for like it was like 4 years. It took me like 4 years to not
Disney.
go home.
Big up to Disney. They did
Lion King, pop that Lion King. Anyway, but there's a video, and I'm literally quoting each line, where each scene, line for line, word for word, and it's a video camera watching me watch the movie, watching Granddad watch me watch the movie, and it was
it was some big elements in this production. Yeah, early so 90s.
We got it honest, and yeah, we're ready to share. We're ready to be vulnerable as we learn how to be vulnerable with each other and with our family. You know, we want to bring it to anybody else who finds that they're having some of the same struggles and the same difficulties, because it's that vulnerability that exposes us and it makes us vulnerable. I can't think of another word right now, but vulnerable to pain and to hurt. But it's also that same vulnerability that allows us to support each other and be there for each other in ways when we need them. So, all right. Well, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I appreciate my cousin once again. I'm so happy we're doing this, and we'll see you the next time. This is Every Second Sunday with J and J.
Every Second Sunday with J and J.
Later.